Today's gospel reading is a continuation of last Sunday's gospel. And we heard last Sunday, Jesus said, "Whoever remains in me and I in him will bear much fruit. And by this is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples." And so in today's gospel reading, Jesus gives us a formula, so to speak, on how to bear much fruit. "This is my commandment. Love one another as I love you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." Meaning, it comes down to this: obedience to God's great commandment of love. The word love has become one of the most frequently used and misused of words. And people attach quite different meanings on the word love. St. John, as we heard in the reading, for St. John, true love is found not in the way humans usually love, but in the way God loves. To truly love is to give ourselves to what we love. To truly love is to give ourselves to the people we love. Loving means more than being kind, more than being nice. Loving means more than being compassionate. To love means to give of oneself. On the cross, Jesus gave himself to the world, utterly, completely. He emptied himself. That's why Jesus commanded, "Love one another as I love you. As the Father loves me, so I also love you." And this commandment is much greater than "love others as you love yourself." With due respect, people often love because they want to receive something back. Even as simply feeling good in the other's company. Often, before people love, they ask themselves, what is in it for me in this relationship? I will be nice to you if you will be nice to me. I will be kind to you, so you will be kind and nice to me. I like you because you like me, because you say nice things about me, and you do things for me. You see how selfish those sound? But the love of God is unconditional, has no boundaries, no limits. God's love is constant and trustworthy. Love is not just a commandment of God. Love is not only what God does. Love is God himself. God is love. Where love is, God is. We were created in the image and likeness of God, who is love. And so our very nature is to love. And that sums up the meaning and purpose of our life, to love. There is one Tagalog song that captures this profound realization, and it goes like this, and I will translate it. "Kung hindi ako nagmamahal, sino ako?" Meaning, translated, if I do not love, then who am I? If I do not love, then what am I? True love is more than a fleeting emotion towards other people. Jesus did not say, "Love each other if you feel like it." See, love is a matter of the will. Love is not a feeling. To love is a choice. To love is a daily choice. Saint Teresa of Calcutta was often asked why she spent so much time and energy helping people who were going to die anyway, and most of them not even Christians. Her answer was that she had no choice. She was a Christian, committed to serving Jesus, because Jesus identified himself with the poorest of the poor. Parents, you respond to your baby's cries in the middle of the night, not because you feel like it, but because you have no choice if you really love your child. And that choice takes sacrifice. A teenager listens to a friend's story of his family's difficulties because his friend needs an ear that understands. And this teenager would much rather be listening to his music or playing his video games, but he has no choice but to be present to his suffering friend because Christianity demands it. A retiree spends a few hours each day with an elderly neighbor. He would rather be fishing or golfing, but he has no choice but to visit Jesus' presence in the homebound. Our parish volunteers and ministers, they could be just safe and comfortable at home with their families, but the love of Christ calls them to serve, and they chose to respond and to serve. And on, millions of little routine daily sacrifices that make the greatest life there ever was a reality in the world. Love is sacrificial. When we look at the cross, we realize the life that we have been chosen to lead. We have been chosen to make Jesus' life a reality. Jesus wants to live his life in us. Jesus said in the gospel, "It was not you who chose me, but I who chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit." You see, it is a gift to be chosen by Jesus and be his friend. We have been chosen for a mission. We can choose every day to respond to the gift of his friendship by trying to follow his footsteps. You may or may not have heard the story of Princess Alice, the second daughter of Queen Victoria of England. The princess married and had a child, a baby boy. When the child was 4, he came down with a terrible disease at the time called black diphtheria. It was highly contagious. There was no cure and no hope. The doctors and nurses told the princess that she had to stay away from her son because her own health was frail. One day, as she stood at the door of her little boy's room, she heard the little boy whispering to the nurse, "Why does not mommy to hold me and kiss me anymore?" That was more than Princess Alice could bear. She then did what any loving mother would do. She ran to her son's bed, hugged him, and kissed him. She had no choice. She had to show her love to her boy. He needed her. Within weeks, she came down with the sickness. Both the mother and the child were buried together. There is an old Jewish proverb that goes, "God could not be everywhere, and therefore he made mothers." Mothers are the embodiment of God's love. A mother's love is unconditional. Our mothers love us whether we are beautiful or ugly, whether we are smart or dull, able-bodied or handicapped. Our mothers love us whether we are a success or a failure in society, whether we are grateful or ungrateful. And all of these qualities of a mother's love are for us a foretaste of God's tender and untiring love for us. And this is what we are celebrating today. We are celebrating mothers because through their hands, God cares for us when we are in need. Through their mouth, God speaks to us of words of consolation when we are heartbroken. Through our mother's hearts, God pours out to us his unconditional love that never gives up on us. So today we acknowledge and appreciate the mothers, and we say, God bless you, mothers. But of course, we cannot and should not forget spiritual mothers. Because it's a fact that there are women who cannot be mothers, physically, literally, but because of one reason or another. but they are so motherly in their own way. Happy Mother's Day.